Code of conduct.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. God made me punch in accurate numbers. My castle won't crumble. What I tackle will fumble. I've been a leader when they ain't see it, but now my feet up. According to me, royalty didn't end with King Tut. Crown on my head, clouds is at my legs. Big says sky is the limit. I look down on the ledge. I push the bar like I'm opening a cell. Hands in my cookie jar, you won't come out with a single nail. I need all of mine. The weight of my shoulders won't fit on a scale. What's a king to a giant? Well, Goliath fell. Even if we playin' chess, dog, this king can't be checked. I make all my moves on the board, I invented my steps. I'm a king, the blood of a ruler, I feel like Mansa Musa. Make your squad disappear like landing by the Bermuda. Triangle, look at it from my angle. I'm a king, the closest thing to being one of God's angels. I'm a king. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I put in extra work that just can't be found. I took the sword out the stone, wasn't a thing. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king. Look me in my eyes cause I'm a king.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is the Code of Conduct with the King podcast. I am your host, JSpenceTheKing. And look, I'm back on a Victory Tuesday. It feels like it's been a long time since I've been able to talk about a Victory Tuesday, but look, we got one. My boys done came out and they did what they were supposed to do in New Jersey. And they told them New Jersey Jets that they had to simmer down. That boy Mike White was talking. He was talking reckless. Talking about I should have been the number one overall pick. If it's up to me, I was that good. You number one victim to throw all those interceptions. She out there looking like Nate Peterman against these Buffalo Bills. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Buffalo? What's up, Bills Mafia? I'm excited. I got a really good show today. I got my homegirl, Ashley Petty, joining me. So that's always fun. I love Ash. Me and Ash, we actually, now I can say we go way back because me and Ash been at this for a minute now. And she's a frequent guest of the show, of the Chop Up. She was with me in Buffalo when we released the Buffalo Rumblings IPA. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and shout that out real quick at the top. Shout out to Resurgence. Buffalo Rumblings IPA was released. Please get out to Wegmans, get out to consumers, get out to Resurgence, go downtown, 55 Chicago Street, get down there, try this, try the Big Berry Bean that the Bills Mafia Babes was able to get out there as well. But we definitely want to support the Buffalo Rumblings IPA. This is for a good cause. We are doing everything for a good cause. This is going to support and help, just help people get on their feet that are being supported by the Haven House. The Haven House, they really take care of people who were getting out of some really rough situations as far as domestic violence and as far as just any type of abuse in the home for women and children. So you want to make sure that you go out and support that. And the beer tastes good. Get out there and do it. Buffalo Rumblings IPA, it is amazing. So again, like I said, I got Ash joining me in a couple minutes. So I'll bring her in shortly. But before I do, just a couple things I want to talk about. I'm not going to go in like I normally do because I got Ash joining me. So first, it was a victory. We got that dub. And with that dub, like I said, it's Victory Tuesday. Yesterday was a real good day for me. I did my morning thoughts as I normally do. And so I'm going to talk about those a little bit when Ash jumps in. I'm not going to jump on those yet. But the first thing actually, one of them I do want to talk about. I do want to talk a little bit. I just want to give Isaiah McKenzie some flowers. Early in the season, I've been critical of special teams. I've been critical of the punt return, kick return position. Listen, Isaiah McKenzie is out here doing it now. 2 weeks in a row, he shut me up, and he's just out here doing his job. And the thing is, the biggest difference from what I'm seeing when I watch the game compared to when I watched it early in the season, Isaiah McKenzie now has, I don't know if something just clicked for him a couple weeks ago, or I don't know if it's just one of those things where it's like, you know what do I got to lose? I'm going to just go out and give everything I got and just do it. I don't know what it is, but Isaiah is out here and he's making quick decisions. And we all know when he gets the ball in his hand, when it's a live play, he's one of the most dangerous guys in the league. To be honest, I often compare him to Tyreek Hill. when Tyreek Hill gets the ball in his hands, it's scary because you don't know what he's going to do. He has a certain type of quickness and speed that most defenders in the league just don't have. I think Isaiah McKenzie is the same way for us. We just don't use him the same way. We saw him get involved in the offense again now too, and you see what happens when you give Isaiah McKenzie the ball, or even when you just put him on the offense. You get to see the defense overreact, and he goes in motion, and the whole defense looks like at Isaiah McKenzie. And now the on Emmanuel Sanders is not there because Isaiah McKenzie just being on the field, it absolutely makes a huge difference. So I just want to give Isaiah McKenzie some flowers, man. He looks absolutely amazing. Special teams, look, it was the phase that, again, we're used to winning. We won Sunday. We won special teams. And not only did we win special teams because of Isaiah McKenzie, but Taiwan Jones is still Taiwan Jones, man. Like, he is such an underrated addition to the team when we got him back from Houston. And it's such an underrated addition to the team in the regard of, obviously, the people who know special teams, the people who watch special teams and care about it. Everybody knows who Taiwan Jones is. There's some fans in Bills Mafia, not good or bad. I'm not making any negative statements about it, but there are some fans who don't quite know who Taiwan Jones is and what value he brings to the team. Let me just tell you, Taiwan Jones is a guy that is going to be a sad day when he can't be who he is. He's one of the fastest gunners in the league. He's one of the sure tacklers. When that ball is kicked and when he gets out there, you're not getting past Taiwan Jones if he's the first guy to you. You're getting tackled, maybe for a loss. That's how good he is. He helps us win special teams every single week. I love it. I love it. So Isaiah McKenzie, you got Taiwan Jones, like I mentioned. Tyler Bass, man, is he not having an all-pro type season for a kicker? Yeah. Tyler Bass is having an all-pro type season for a kicker. And look, it's one of those things where you can almost say, well, we don't need a guy to be that automatic, and we don't need a guy to have that type of leg when you're playing with the type of offense that we're playing with. But I'm going to tell you what, it's a luxury that A, most teams can't afford, but B, is a luxury that most teams don't really get to experience. You look at teams around the league, and I mean, how many of them can you say, like, okay, that guy's automatic. Darn it, we're gonna lose. Damn, we're gonna lose because he got, you're tied at the end of the game and they get to the 35-yard line and you just automatically know, damn, that's an L for us. The only team that I'm like 100% that I would say that will be Baltimore. Justin Tucker is about the most, and I know he missed one last week, but he's pretty much the most accurate kicker, and he's the best kicker that we've seen in some time. He's history. He's money. He has the record for the longest kick. He has the record for most accurate season. He has the record for this. He has the record for that. He just has the records when it comes to kicking the ball. And that's cool. He deserves them. He's that dude. I promise you, Tyler Bass is going to rewrite those history books. We got a guy in Tyler Bass that's doing everything that Justin Tucker can do, but I think his leg is stronger. Think about that. That's scary. That's scary. He's super accurate with his kicks. He's efficient, but he has a stronger leg. It's insane. It's absolutely insane to think about. It's absolutely insane to say. I know for my Baltimore listeners, I'm going to get some stuff because I know my cousin is a huge Baltimore fan. He's going to talk some stuff to me. I get it. This is not a homer take. This is the honest to God. Anybody who listens to this and anybody who disagrees, go and watch Tyler Bass's kicks. I really need you to go and pay attention. Go and look at Tyler Bass kick the ball. That's all I'm going to say. Tyler Bass is that dude. He's that dude. We can still use some work on the punt. I'm a little concerned about Hack. Not for all the same reasons that everybody else was concerned. I know, week one, we got the block punt, and then, he had a couple where he kind of shanked him off the side of his foot, and okay, fine. You have punters that make mistakes. Corey Bajorquez last season, a lot of Bills fans were like, dude, why are we keeping him? Because he would have one where he kicked it 68 yards down the field. Then the next time he punted the ball, he would kick it off the side of his foot for 12 yards. So we've experienced that even with a guy with the boom, with a cannon for a leg. So that's not my concern because it happens. Like it happens where every kick isn't going to be perfect. He can't be Brian Moorman. Shout out to Brian Moorman, the greatest punter in the history of Buffalo Bills, or in Buffalo Bills history. Shout out to Brian Moorman. But you're not going to get the perfect kicker or the perfect punter who kicks the ball perfectly every single time. You're not going to get it. But what I am concerned is they told me that this guy was a specialist. They told me that he was top tier when it comes to directional punting, and that he was top tier into that corner coffin punt. Like, okay, if we're within a certain yardage, he can guarantee he's going to get that ball within the 10-yard line, 5-yard line in the corner, going to kick it out. That's not what I'm seeing. It's not what I'm seeing. And I don't know if it's just because we might not have been in a position to do it this season for the most part, but I just have been underwhelmed, very unimpressed with Matt Hack. So hopefully that, the same type of speech and the same type of fire that was lit under the running backs and lit under the offensive line with Spencer Brown coming back and, the receivers, just everything. It was a fire lit under this team. I'm hoping that Hack can kind of figure this thing out because we're going to need him. We're going to need him once, we're halfway through November. Once December gets here, once all that other stuff gets here, it's you're going to need, I'm not saying that we're not going to be able to move the ball, but there's going to be times that you're absolutely going to need your kicker. You're going to need your punter come December, come the playoffs. January, you're going to want a guy that can change the field position. I talked about that for Isaiah McKenzie. You always want a guy who, when you're receiving punts or kickoffs, you can flip that field position and help Josh start the offense on the 35, the 40-yard line, like Andre Roberts used to do consistently. We consistently started on like the 38, 40-yard line last season when we had Andre Roberts. That's something that Isaiah wasn't doing. Now we're consistently, last 2 games, you see how he's helping us get the ball in better positions. On the flip, you want a punter that can do the same thing, but flip the field position so that way they aren't able to return it and they're starting and they have a long way to go. We haven't been able to see that. I do got a complaint about Bills Mafia, about my family. Let me complain about my squad. Not the team. By squad, I mean Bills Mafia, the fan base. I've been seeing a ton of stuff. AJ Klein is better than or just as good as Tremaine Edmunds, and we should replace him because the money that is costing us for Tremaine on the 5th-year option, and the money is going to cost us to extend Tremaine Edmunds, we're getting the same type of production out of AJ Klein. We're getting this and we're getting that. Let me stop you. Okay? Let me stop you. That's a ridiculous reaction. It's a ridiculous take. And this isn't even about my love for Tremaine Edmunds. AJ Klein had a solid game. Very solid game. I pulled up his stats here. He did everything that McDiddy needed him to do. He did everything. I hope he gets more playing time this year. He's been playing here and there throughout the season. So I hope they give him some more playing time. He had 8 tackles Sunday. Looked good. He applied some pressure. He did everything that the team asked him to do. But let's not forget who AJ Klein is. He's a good player now that the team knows how to use him. But last season, he's the same guy that everybody was asking, why is he in the game? When Tremaine first got hurt, remember last season when Tremaine had the shoulder injury, this guy had an abysmal start to the season. Then he turned it around. The team figured out how to use him. Instead of having him try to do some things in coverage, they started to send him towards the quarterback. He became Defensive Player of the Week against the Chargers. 14 tackles, 3 for a loss, 1.5 sacks in the pass breakup. That's AJ Klein at his best. That's not AJ Klein every week. Now, that's not Tremaine every week. But Tremaine, I can promise you, is a better player than AJ Klein. And this is no way a slight to AJ Klein. But my issue is, why is it that we have a sector, because it's not the fan base. Our fan base loves our guys. But you have this portion of the fan base that tends to try and run our homegrown talent out of Buffalo. Don't believe me? Ask Stephon Gilmore. Yeah. Ask Stephon Gilmore. You don't believe me? Go back over the summer and ask Cody Ford how people were talking about him and calling him a disappointment. It's one thing to critique a game and say, hey, Cody's not playing well. Hey, the team needs to move on from Cody. Hey, it's one thing to say he can't be the starting tackle. He can't be the starting guard. It's a completely different thing to speak personally about somebody and negatively about somebody like that. And I'm saying this about Tremaine, and I'm gonna just tell you, not on the Kings' watch, okay? Not on Zaddy's watch, okay? And I'm only, for those listening to podcast form, I'm only saying that because I'm wearing a shirt that says Zaddy. Shout out to JustinCaseBags.net. Let me go ahead and throw that up real quick too. Shout out to JustinCaseBags.net. The shirt that I'm wearing today, I got the Zaddy one on. We also have the King shirts. And then we got them for the Queens, because you know how we do it. The King got to look out for the Queens. Shout out to the Bills Mafia Babes, but definitely shout out to JustinCaseBags.net. We got something for everybody. And this just in case you're leaving the gym, just in case you're leaving work and you need to freshen up for a dinner date, just in case you're meeting somebody for a sneaky little link and you got to do what you got to do. Go ahead and get it. We got something for the fellas. We got something for the ladies. And I'm going to tell you, they're dope. They're dope. This is the bag for the fellas. And here's the bag for the ladies. It's something really, really fresh. So make sure y'all go ahead and check them out. But in all seriousness, the way people were talking about Cole Beasley, the way people were talking about Cody, come on, man. We can't get personal with these guys. These guys are doing everything to bring you all the fun and joy and attention that you need every single week. You gotta let's relax. I promise you, I'm not gonna allow my guy Tremaine Edmunds to be ran out of town by a fan base. No. Because at the very least, now if we run him out, I guarantee you though, one thing is for damn sure. He's gonna hear every single week until that point from somebody, from me. He's gonna hear from at least one person. You a dog, you a beast, you're an animal. He's going to hear at least once a week on a chop up about how we going to count the bodies that he's been collecting all season. He's going to hear it. If not from anybody else, he's going to hear it from me. And that's going to be a fact as long as I'm around. It's going to be the same way for all these other guys. I'm going to show some love in a little bit to somebody else, but my homegirl ready. So we're going to go ahead and bring her in. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to bring this back up. So let's get it. You already know how I do it here, so I ain't even going to do the thing. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go.
This is a JSpence exclusive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, I told you I was going to bring my homegirl in, and she is here. Miss Ashley Petty, what is going on?
What up? Happy to be here.
So for those of you who don't know, Ashley Petty, not only is she just like one of the coolest people I know, but she, so the Why So Serious podcast that was last season, you're going to bring it back next season?
Yeah, we're revamping a little. We got some things in the works. So we will see next year what we've got going on. We're really excited to come back stronger than we were before. So
I'm looking forward to it. I miss hearing Stevie's, and I know even last year he wasn't necessarily on every episode and he wasn't, involved with everything. But when he does jump in, I love hearing his just his expertise on what he sees and how he views the game. It's tough now because we got so many guys on the team that I'm just like in love with. But he's always been like my favorite, like literally all-time favorite Bills player. And so, yeah, I can't wait for that to come back. And I can't wait to get you more active because you've been chilling this year. I don't like it.
It's not that I've been chilling. I'm just working like 3.5 jobs. I got like a live streaming app that I make some money on. And then I do like 3 jobs right now. So I'm working hard, just not in the football realm currently. But hopefully we're going to scale back a little so we can get back more into the podcast world because I miss it here.
Well, no, make your money. I support the hustle. Make the money. So, but before I brought you in here though, so I was starting to go on a rant, and then I was like, you know what? No, Ashley's ready. Let me bring Ashley in. So I was going on this rant because I feel like there's a portion of the fan base. It's not the entire fan base. I still think that Bills Mafia is probably the best fan base in the league, and I'm not saying it because I'm part of it. I really feel like we are. Like all the charitable things that we do, we take care of each other. We like even just getting to know you and Kristen, like hearing all the stuff that happens in the babes chat on Facebook, like how what do you like adopt a babe or whatever you ladies have, and all this stuff that y'all do. It's just an awesome community. So I feel like the fan base itself is dope, but there's a certain part of the fan base that we have a bad habit of running off a lot of our homegrown star players. And I brought up Stephon Gilmore. This earlier this year over the summer, it was Cody Ford. Now, Cody hasn't played well. So I understand. I understand critiquing this game and saying, hey, the team needs to trade him, get this guy out of here. I get that. But when you're talking and saying things that kind of come to a person's character and their personality, or you're like talking about them in a personal way, I just feel like we crossed the line. You know, we did the same thing years ago, and we you know, we got our Marshawn Lynch traded out of Buffalo, and we got like, well, you could probably go down the line. Over the summer, Cole Beasley with the COVID thing, people were tripping.
Everybody
on him.
was trying to run him out of town.
And it's like, you know, so we don't have to get into the COVID talk. I don't want to go there.
No.
Bringing it back up to this AJ over Tremaine thing, and people are saying like now, hey, so Tremaine is on his 5th-year option, and we're paying him all this money, and AJ Klein is giving us the same production, and blah 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 blah. How do you feel when you hear replace Tremaine with AJ Klein? Is it just me? Am I the only one tripping?
I had no words. The first tweet I saw saying something like that, I was just sitting there scratching my head like, in what world are we living where you're trying to replace Tremaine Edmunds with AJ Klein? That's an absolutely ridiculous thought. I don't even know why you're thinking that. We literally moved up in the draft to take this guy. Brandon Beane loves this guy. That is one of his guys. He's not going to just trade him away because he costs a little more money. We've clearly shown that we're not afraid to pay people. Look at Josh Allen's contract. They're not going to let Tremaine Edmunds walk. Absolutely not. Of course, they're going to, you know, figure out a contract that's conducive to both him and us. You know, they've been backloading these contracts that they've been taking on. So I just don't understand where this is coming from. I think it's just because for so many years, we didn't have this depth. We didn't have depth behind our starters. It was just such a drop off from, you know, 1 to 2 that people aren't used to the backups being good as the starters are. I wouldn't say, you know, they're at the same level, but you shouldn't be keeping AJ Klein over Tremaine Edmunds in any, I don't know, in any sane person's mind, in my opinion. Tremaine Edmunds is always number 1.
Well, no, but you know what? You're so right, because even so like just go back 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and for instance, when Shady got injured, when his ankle was hurt, we had like, so there was a year where we had Carlos, and Carlos showed up. But other times when it wasn't Carlos, I mean, we didn't have, it's not like we had like, boom, let's do this. Receivers go down. We talked about Stevie. When Stevie was on the roster, after Stevie, it was kind of like, okay. And don't get me wrong, like,
guy. Why not?
Yeah, like we had guys. So, I mean, with all respect to the players that we all love and respect, but at the same time, with all respect to the players that we love and respect, like these guys didn't make the playoffs for 17 years. And you have certain guys who could be considered stars that came through here, but we didn't have those deep rosters like we have now. So to your point, like now, okay, AJ Klein can come in and fill in when Tremaine's hurt, but let's not act like they're the same. Like these guys are not the same.
Talk to me when AJ has a Pro Bowl under his belt, or at least something of that nature.
And not only just the Pro Bowl, but it's like, and I know a lot of people are like, you want to use the excuse that he's only 23. Actually, I do want to use that, because he's playing better than 85% of the other linebackers in the league right now, and he's only 23. Like, exactly.
He's already got, this is his 4th season. I mean, come on.
He's so like, in his 4th season, he's only 23, and you're drafting guys that are rookies that are 23. Right. So now you have a guy right now who has 4 years experience. He's a captain. He's made the Pro Bowl. He's I don't even want to talk.
He's your Mike too. Like what? No.
Like it just doesn't make sense. So we can move on from that. I just kind of wanted your input because I was going on this whole rant. And
no, I completely agree with you. Absolutely.
I'm just saying, all the listeners are actually lucky though, to be honest, because you was ready when I was going in. I was like, I was going there, and then you was like, all right, I'm ready. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bring her in, because if not, I'm gonna talk on this for 45 minutes. And y'all know me when it comes to Tremaine. So,
Right.
but anyway, I sent you some questions earlier. Let's let's get to the conversation that me and you were supposed to have. So Sunday, our Buffalo Bills went down to New Jersey, and they did the damn thing like they were supposed to do it.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. Because the Jaguars game was it was very disappointing.
Extremely.
What did you see from this game in New Jersey that made you, like what stood out to you that said, because there's a you can look at it from two sides. One is like, well, it's the Jets, or it's like, well, no, it don't matter who it is. These guys are back. How do you see it? Like, what stood out to you to make you feel confident that they're back?
Well, I love just the business mindset they took into this game. Sean McDermott said they're not playing games. All the media was like, they're not dancing this week. I love that they, took that loss and became resilient and really got out there and showed that they know how to play football. They just got embarrassed by this team. And I mean, a lot of good teams last week got embarrassed by a horrible team. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But either way, it's going to happen. You're going to face adversity throughout your season. And these guys were really resilient. I mean, that secondary, almost everybody had to take over. You got Josh on the rebound. And I mean, that offensive line looked completely different with Spencer Brown back in there. So those were probably my top three, was the secondary, Josh, and then the offensive line. I mean, the wide receivers look back on because they were dropping passes last week that they were catching this week. And our offense just looked like they had so many levels of depth. I mean, you bring in Isaiah McKenzie, that provides a completely different dimension. That brings it. You bring in Matt Breida, who hasn't even played it all season, scoring on the first drive of the game. You just bring in all these pieces that you haven't been utilizing. And Brian Daboll called an absolute masterful game. And granted, like we said, it's the Jets, but they just, on every aspect of special teams, offense and defense, played a complete game.
I agree. At the top of this, so in my little monologue piece that I was doing, I actually said, we won all three phases of the game. It wasn't just like the offense was dominant and the defense didn't have to do. No, the defense completely. I know the scorer said 17. That game, it was not even as close as it looked, and it didn't look close. But we absolutely dominated that game. And I think you're right. Brian Daboll had a comeback game too, because, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, everybody thought we were going to do to them what we did against the Jets. And that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. So, but to your point, you know what, you give me these nuggets. I didn't even bring up Breida earlier.
Yep.
What's your take on Breida with the running game? Because Zach Moss and Devin Singletary have had some rough.
It's a weird tandem. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be really successful. I mean, Zach Moss saw a lot of success last year, but then he got the injury and it kind of I don't know. He kind of fell off a little bit for me. And then Devin is still here and there. I fumbled it a couple times. So maybe I'm a little nervous here and there. But then Matt Breida brings that veteran presence. He's been there longer than those two guys and just absolutely blew it out of the water. I think he has something to prove. So that's why he's out here running all over the field. And that provides a little bit of comfort for, Singletary and Moss, that there is a third guy that can help them out if they're overwhelmed with the workload that they're getting, which, to be honest, isn't even really that much. But maybe it's just rotating the three of them is what works for this offense. I was kind of reminded of past Patriots offenses that just threw in a running back every week, and it was somebody different every week that was successful. That's kind of what this looks like for us. So maybe that's just what works for this team.
I hope, but see, the difference with those Patriots teams, at least to me, to my recollection, when I look back on those, because they had Tom Brady, they had a better offensive line. So it was one of those things where, you could grab me off my couch and be like, all right, man, I just need you to go out there and get 3.5 yards. You go out there, get 3.5 yards on second down, we're good. And the thing is, this week I can't yell at them, but last week I was so disappointed with the running game because, we had 9 rushes for 22 yards. So, I think the average was 2.4 yards a carry. You couldn't even get 3 yards, so, because the thing is, if you take that average and you just say, you're like, you know what, I'm going to run the ball, forget it. I'm going to run the ball. That means you're not even averaging a first down every 4 plays.
Nope.
You're not even able to get a first down handing the ball off 4 times in a row. And it's just something that you expect. So from Bills fans, I feel like we've been spoiled over the years with great running back play. Now, we didn't have the quarterbacks, after Jim and after my personal favorite from all of that time was Flutie. I feel like after Flutie, we had such a drop off, and then we had some hope. Tyrod came and took us to the playoffs, but it just wasn't quite the quarterback play that we wanted. But we always had run. We had Shady, we had CJ Spiller, we had we've had Freddie, and we had all these guys that just do it. And now it's like, oh man, we need the running game to pick it up. We needed to pick it up. So I hope that Matt Breida is that missing link. Like, I hope he's that extra speed that we're looking for. Or I hope that, and maybe it's just a different look. Maybe it's not even about him having something that they don't have. Right. But it's just a different look. I don't know. But so do you think the team is going forward? You think we're still going to get him involved? Or you think it was kind of like, okay, guys, Zach and Devin, you're going to lose your job. How do you see it?
I don't think they're going to lose their job, but I definitely think, that's an option that these guys have moving forward if it's in their plans, and they have enough people that are inactive or injured or COVID list, what have you. I think that was another factor in why he played. You have Star Latulele out, you have Tremaine out, 2 normal starters are off. I mean, it's an option, and it just, like we said before, it provides another level of depth that in another look that, now teams have only seen one time. We didn't have them before this year. So that gives us something new, and it gives us an option, just like, people are never expecting whatever Isaiah McKenzie's going to do.
Yeah.
So.
I was so happy that they finally started to get him more involved in the offense again, because that was my critique. So I'm always hard on special teams because I feel that special teams is like way more important than a lot of us want to say. But the thing is, I feel like we're doing, or for the bulk of the season so far, I felt like we were doing Isaiah a disservice, because I feel like he's far more valuable as a wide receiver in the offense than he ever has been and ever can be as a punt and kick return. I don't care if he's great. He could be great. Like, he could be the best punt returner in the league. But I feel like what he gives us on offense, he scares teams. So, like, just him being even if we're not going to go to him, you got 3 guys paying attention to him. And then all of a sudden, Emmanuel Sanders is wide open on a go route or something, or Diggs is open on a slant. And it's like, oh, that came just because Isaiah literally ran across the field in motion, and you moved 4 defenders at one time. How impressed were you with what we saw from Daboll play calling, putting Isaiah back in the game plan?
I mean, I loved seeing Isaiah McKenzie. I think he's invaluable on those gadget plays. And, he provides a distraction and another, layer of that offense that isn't seen a lot. Like you said, we've really been doing him a disservice by him not playing as much as he should have been this year. And to truly see him come out of his shell this week and kind of explode a little bit, I mean, he did have a touchdown. Like, wasn't it the one where everybody was confused? Because I was confused on one of those plays where someone went up the middle and then he totally flew out on the side and ran it in. I think that was him, right?
I was concerned about his ankle. Like, and I know he actually came back and ended up playing. Yeah, I was nervous. Did we hear anything? I know. So yesterday being Monday, I know it was like a off day anyway. They don't practice on those days. I didn't hear anything as of today yet, but I hope he's not injured. I hope he's not like going to have any time out for because you get hit during the game, but then like your adrenaline still keeps you going, and then a couple of days later it's like, oh, he's sore. He's not going to be able to practice.
Yeah,
today.
No, I definitely wrote down that I got a little anxiety when he went down, because that's not only, like you said, such a valuable asset to this offense, but that's your kick returner right now. And I'll tell you what, I didn't see, as worried as I was about losing Andre Roberts, I didn't see much of a drop off between him and Isaiah. He's provided just the spark that Roberts did.
I'm gonna disagree with you. He has lately, the last 2 games.
Okay.
The last 2 games. Early, and I can't, so because I get beat up a lot because I've been critical of Isaiah on this show, and people in the comments and people on Twitter is like, what do you mean? He's like, so like for the first like 4 weeks of the season, he was leading the league in punt return or kick return average yard per kick. The thing with that is, the very first game of the season, he had that 75-yard return against the Steelers. Everything after that, he was averaging if you take that one kick return out, he was averaging about 18 yards. So he wasn't even getting to the 25-yard line. He wasn't even getting to the 20-yard line. So it'd be like, no, you should just down it in the end zone and then we're good. Like that's what it should have been. So without that one big one, his numbers don't look as inflated.
Yeah.
Punt return have absolutely not been that good. Now, I do know also, I understand that there's been some holding calls and some things that have held him back. So I'm not saying it's 100% on Isaiah. Isaiah, once he gets the ball, the dude is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
My issue with him starting the season off was mental. Like the one kickoff return where he let it bounce and then it was a turnover. After 10 yards, that's a turnover. Got to catch it. Yeah. So, but again, like I love Isaiah. So this isn't me like hating and piling it on. It's more so I'm very critical about special teams because I think it's so important and we ignore it way too much. It
is.
So,
and I was worried. I'm like, who are we taking Micah next? Like, who's our kick returner if he's out? It's got to be Micah, right?
Yeah. Micah, fair catch, Micah.
And I was going to say, you don't want him trying to run it down the field. Absolutely not.
No, we don't need him running at all. You fair catch, you sit there just
all day.
Just catch. I don't want you doing nothing else, Micah. Nothing else. Yep. Speaking of Micah, let's get to the defense a little bit because so you mentioned earlier, and I think I mentioned earlier as well at the beginning of the show, like so all five guys in the secondary got a turnover, right? So this season I've been on my whole Jordan Poyer for all pro or I riot. Like that's my campaign. Matter of fact, I'm a hit him up or I'm gonna hit his representation up and see if we could collab on a shirt or something. Or if he can make the shirt, I don't care. I'll buy it and support it.
Well, he just came out with the big Dub sweatshirts. So.
I saw that, but I want to see a Jordan Poyer for all pro or we riot shirt. Like literally, I wanted to say Poyer for all pro or we riot. I want that.
There's literally no way that he can get overlooked this year. Like, I just don't see how, because not only him, but Micah too, they're both having an incredible year. And you can't understate how important they are to this defense. So, yeah. I mean, I just don't see Jordan Poyer not getting off. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, because I agree with you about Micah Hyde. I obviously agree about Jordan Poyer. I think Trey has already proven to us in the past that he's Trey. So like we don't even need to talk about Trey. Taron Johnson's been, first of all, Brandon Beane, I love you, dude. Can I just tell Brandon Beane how much I love him?
You brought him back. Whew.
You know, it's like, come on, man. And so he's playing lights out. But Levi Wallace, I feel like this dude, he's been so much better than not just Bills fans, but people in general want to give him credit for. He was that guy. So he's an undrafted free agent, right? Mm-hmm. He came in. It seems like every year, okay, we're going to get some competition for cornerback too. And they always bring in somebody to try to go against Levi. Last year, they brought in Josh Norman. You know, he ended up getting stiff-armed from Nashville all the way out to San Francisco where he's playing now. And then, you know, they drafted Dane Jackson, who's good. And he's on this roster, but you know, everybody in the well, Dane Jackson's gonna beat out Levi because Levi is not that good. Guess who's starting now? They brought him back. This guy came back on a 1-year, $1.75 million contract.
Yep.
Is he not outperforming his damn contract? Like, what are your thoughts on Levi?
I hate to say it. I was one of the people on the Dane Jackson train. I was a huge fan of just what a playmaker he was when his number was called. But I will eat my words. You know, Levi has had an incredible year, much better than I thought he would be, which kudos to him. I'm glad to see it. Whoever can do their job to the utmost best ability, like he has done this year and truly proven that he belongs there, you know, he deserves it. He has outplayed his contract. I wonder if they're just going to give him another 1 year like they've been doing the last couple years, or if they're really going to give him, you know, a 2 to 3 year, you know, a little bit of an extension. I wonder where they're going to go with that.
Extend that man. I'm gonna be the first one to say it live on air. We need to extend that man. Get that man a 3-year extension. I'm even cool with like a 2-year deal, whatever. But give him a couple years. Let him come in. He's earned that money. He's earned it. He's playing hard like this on a 1 point. He could have went elsewhere and made more money. That was a known fact. And he came back because he felt like we were going to win it all this year. And he's balling. Like I had some notes on him earlier. Let me see if I can pull those up real quick, because it's just impressive to me what he's doing. Because on one side of it, like last year, one of the things how I used to defend him is like, well, it's the team scheme anyway. Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
bend but don't break. They say give up everything between the 20s. And then, like, once you get into the red zone, all right, clink, clink, let's time to lock it down. That's not the case this year.
No.
The Bills have probably the most stingy defense in the league. And
I'm telling you, Starlet Tulele being back is the reason why. I have said this for a year and a half. He's finally back in, and look at what we have.
I'm on the same with you, because last year everybody was like, well, if Star ain't that big of a Star ain't this and Star ain't that. I said, okay. And the moment he gets back, the defense looks completely
lights
different.
out.
Completely different. And the thing is, even when he was coming back, and I'm gonna pick on my guy Joe Miller for a second too. Joe was like, well, he lost some weight, he slimmed down, he looks quick, but no, that's not the Star we need. And I'm like, come on, Joe. Then you had other people saying like Star ain't gonna be. I just got to pick on Joe because that's my dude. But then you got other people, was really talking about him. Like Joe wasn't really skeptical. He was just thinking like maybe we need the big guy to plug up the middle and we don't want him to lose weight. But then you had other people who really had takes like, Star is not that good. We're paying him too much. He don't even need to be on this team. He's not worth his contract. Is he worth the contract now?
100%, because you have that, he's the first layer defense. Your linebackers and your secondary are going to perform a whole lot better if that line is holding up where they're supposed to. And we've seen that time and time again this year.
Yeah, so I'm with you, but I don't want to, because we were literally about to go on a tangent.
I know.
No, you're good. No, because I was with you. I'm like, yeah, because Star is the man. But so with Levi though, because like again, like it was between the 20s, like give up, bend don't break. Look, that's not what's happening. That is not what's happening. It's one of the stingiest defenses in the league. He's opposite Trey, so teams are going to be like, well, let's pick on this guy over here because we're not going to throw to Trey all the time. And guess what's happening? 3 and outs. We're getting teams off the field. If we don't have the best defense after this past week, we're still like top 2. I didn't even look at the numbers. We're not giving up yards on the ground. We're not giving up yards in the air. Like teams just can't do anything against us.
No.
So it's like I have no idea what happened, where this came from. But when I tell you I love that man Levi Wallace, I need that man Levi Wallace to get that extension. I need it to happen.
I'll agree. I'll agree with that.
It's just, I just don't understand. Now, okay, before I go that far, wait a minute. I got to talk to Sterling and I got to talk to my guys that know college football to see if there's any cornerbacks that might fall to us at 32. If there's a good cornerback that can fall to us at the 32 position, then maybe I'm not, okay, I don't know. But if it ain't no absolute stud that you feel like is going to beat her at 32, I don't want it. I don't want anybody. It just
give me offensive line.
Give me.
That's what I want. Sorry, I hate to say it, but
give me, please. No, we need a guard. We need a guard. Now, we extended Darrell Williams, so he's here for a couple more years. So Darrell at right guard, I'm fine with.
Yeah, that's great.
Spencer at right tackle, I'm fine with. It's Feliciano, and. Like, so earlier I talked about how the fan base sometimes will try to run guys out of town and they talk bad about him. Look, this is me saying he's not playing well. We need better performance on the line. I'm not coming at his character. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I love Mongo. He's doing something in Buffalo for the holidays with one of my favorite charities out there. I think Lorenzo Alexander actually used to do it with them as well over there on the west side. Got a lot of stuff going on. I love Mongo. But, bro, I love Josh Allen more. And you're not protecting my quarterback and you're not protecting my running backs. We got to do better. So I'm with you. We got to draft. If there's a guy at 32, because that's what we're going to be. You feel like that too, right?
I sure hope so.
Yeah. So I need the best available offensive lineman at 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bring Levi back.
But that's where my brain is in the draft. I'm not big on college ball or draft either, but
we'll find out.
Offensive line just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. No, it does. And then because then even when Spencer's back like he was Sunday and the line looks good, it looked a whole lot better. The thing is, though, you saw what happened a week before, because now our offensive line is, in an abbreviated sense, is everything that our team was for the last 2 decades. We don't have the depth on the offensive line that we have, for instance, if Diggs gets injured, it hurts. But Emmanuel Sanders is still a very good receiver. Cole
Right.
Beasley is a very good receiver.
Davis,
Gabriel
look at what
Davis
he
is
did
a
this
very
week.
good receiver. So in the wide receiver space, we're good. Running back space, I think we could bring Williams off the practice squad, and it will still get. Not that our running backs are great, because we just talked about how they haven't been up to par, but I like Williams. I like Breida. I like, so we still, that offensive line, Spencer Brown goes down and you see what happens.
It's a mess. Who would have
no.
thought that this rookie coming in was going to have such a big impact on this offense? I mean, okay,
no,
yes, you did.
I'm only going to brag or have this type of flex on it because specifically for Sterling from Cover One. Specifically, I had him on here, and we were talking at it was like week 2, and we had a bad offensive line performance, and I was like, I think it's time that we call Spencer Brown up, man. He did this, he graded out like this, and he did that, and Sterling was like, nah, not this season, man. He just ain't it. He ain't ready for it. We go probably another 2 seasons before he get. And I was like, nah, dude, we need Spencer Brown. He was like, nah, Spence, I'm telling you, look at it. Look at it.
So now.
Yeah, this time I'm gonna pat myself for that one. His
personality off the field too just fits Buffalo so well.
On the field, he's like even like off the field too. But I love how he talks so much crap. I love that. I love when he was waving by to like one of the players. There was another player who was like real short, and he's like, I can't even see you, man. Like where?
Yeah,
you
at?
I love it. So I love it. I love it. So yeah, I'm with you. Let's talk about something a little bit more fun. I feel like everybody can enjoy and get into this one. After the win, is Josh firmly in the MVP race? Because I feel like he was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Then we got the Jaguar loss, and it's like, that's ugly, Josh. Where are we at? How you feel with Josh in this MVP race?
I mean, I have to say yes. You look at every other MVP candidate, and every single one of them has faced some sort of adversity. I mean, Kyler Murray hasn't even played the last 2 games. You got Lamar Jackson, who just lost to the Dolphins. Patrick Mahomes isn't having the best season by any means because his team's record clearly shows that. I mean, Allen had his tough loss. Who else is Dak Prescott lost to the Broncos? That wasn't expected either. So like really, everybody's had a struggle at some point. And then Derrick Henry, he's out for the season. Mm-hmm. So everybody that was in that conversation, literally within the last 2 weeks, has had some sort of struggle.
Yep.
So it's all how they bounce back now. And I think that's what's more important moving forward in this conversation is how are these players all going to bounce back and prove themselves to be the MVP?
Yeah, no, I agree. So before all the injuries and all this craziness that was going on, the way I had Kyler Murray, then I had, I hate to say this, even though I love him now, I have no hatred in my heart for Tom Brady. Since he's
Tom
no
Brady,
longer
yeah.
Tom was having that type.
I didn't even mention that.
Washington just took care of Tom, and then after that, I actually had Josh 4th because I had Lamar Jackson 3rd. I feel like the year that Lamar Jackson won MVP, he's playing better this year than he did the year that he won MVP, and he still has less weapons. His top 2 running backs are out on injured reserve. His number 1 wide receiver is Sammy Watkins. You know what I mean? Like, so, no, I'm sorry. All respect to Hollywood Brown, but it's not like he has Stephon Diggs out there. You get what I'm saying? Like he's not. So I felt Lamar should be in that conversation. But so you feel like Josh is there though? Like, we're ready to go in this
I
campaign.
definitely think he still has a shot. And I mean, the schedule that we have coming up now looks a lot harder than it did a few weeks ago, in my opinion. But I think if they truly buckle down and have the mindset going into the rest of these games that they did, this week, 1-0 every week is all you got to keep focused on.
Yeah, one of my every morning or every Monday morning, I do either like my Victory Monday thoughts or like my thoughts on the loss. And one of the thoughts about this week's win was, 3-0 in the division sounds good. Like right now, I get it. Like we lost last week to the Jaguars, but look, the first and easiest way to get to the playoffs is to win your division. After that, you absolutely want the conference, but the first step is winning your division. And right now we're halfway there. We're 3-0. And I agree with your point that our division is starting to look, or not just our division, but our schedule is starting to look a little more difficult. And I think the only reason why I feel like that is only because of the Patriots. The Patriots have improved a bit. They look good, but I'm not scared. And so now I don't know if this is me being cocky or if this is because I feel like now I watch the game pretty good. And I think I have a good understanding of the game. I feel like this defense is still going to confuse Mac Jones. I'm not worried about him. So, but when you say the schedule is getting difficult now, or a little more difficult than we thought, do you have the same thoughts, or are you looking at a different team right now that's like, well, they might be a little difficult too?
No, it's kind of the Patriots were kind of where I had my eye on. I mean, Baker Mayfield did go down during that game. So who's to say that, it was just the Patriots being really good? It might have been them losing their quarterback also. But, I mean, the Saints, I'm 50-50 on them. They could go either way. The Colts look good right now. I mean, I don't know. It just
JT.
You still got Tampa Bay on your schedule. That's still going against Tom Brady again. You still got Carolina, who looked pretty good at the beginning of the season. Maybe not as much now, but they just got Cam Newton, and look at how good he looked. Let's be honest here.
Shout out to my dog,
I kind of root for Cam. As much of an outlier or outcast as he may be, I still kind of root for him a little bit. I don't know why.
I don't kind of
like
I root for him. I full-fledged. I go hard for him. And so they played the Cardinals this past Sunday, and
Correct,
so I went out to the game, and I didn't expect him to play. So I didn't even wear my Cam jersey because, they made the announcement that Walker was going to start and all of that stuff. So I'm like, okay, he don't know the playbook, so they're not going to put him in. Very first drive, they get down to the goal line. I think it's like maybe 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. Cam gets in, runs a sweep, touchdown. I'm losing my mind. Like, I'm losing my shit. Second drive, then he comes in, then he throws a touchdown. 2 touchdowns in 2 drives. So he literally was on the field for 2 plays and scores 2 touchdowns. I'm losing it. So I'm just letting everybody know for the remainder of the season, obviously it's Bills first. And for me, now that I live where I live, is Cardinals second, because that's my NFC team. But my dog Cam is back, and I'm about to talk major crap. So don't get mad when y'all see me with my jerseys and stuff again. Cam is my dude. I'm happy about that. I was going to bring Cam up, but I didn't want to do it because everybody's sick of me.
And it's all right. Like, it's okay to like individual players on other teams. Like, I love Larry Fitzgerald. I always will. He'll always be a mainstay on any fantasy team that I have. Just very reliable and a very good guy off the field. I mean, we all have people that we like that aren't necessarily a Bills player. So it's all right.
Every year in fantasy, I draft Justin Tucker. he's my kicker.
See, everybody has a fantasy mainstay too. Like, it is what it is.
Yep, every single time. So, but yeah, I agree with you though about the Josh take. I think Josh is absolutely right there in the grand scheme of things for MVP. I think I would like to see him clean up a little bit. And I know, for instance, the interception Sunday, some want to say it's his fault, some say it wasn't. However you want to look at that, that's fine. I want to see him clean up the turnovers. We gotta get to a point where, I know it was only 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I want to get to the point where we're seeing 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, 0. Like, we got to get back to that place where we're not turning the ball over, because
he was there for a very long time. He doesn't turn the ball over often.
Yeah, and I'm proud of him. I mean, the steps forward that he's taken is like you can't help but be proud of him. But he has moments where, I'm not even going to say I don't want to do the sugar high Josh thing or talk like that, because I don't think he's regressed. I don't think he's gone back to anything.
Definitely not.
I just think he's a dog. He's a winner. So when things are breaking down around him and he feels like people aren't going to help him win, he's going to go and get that W himself, and that's what happens. But yeah, whatever. Let's I'm not gonna. I feel like I'm taking your time. So I got 2 more questions for you. Let's talk a little. Let's stick with Josh a little bit. I feel like offense is fun. People like talking offense. So I feel like Josh and Steph got they mojo back. Like they got their chemistry going again. They lit the league on fire. So, what do you feel like was the main key that kind of helped them get back on track?
I mean, I think just the fact that last week was such a spin out and they couldn't get anything going. It seemed like all the wide receivers were on a disconnect last week. I mean, Cole Beasley never used to drop passes, and this year he's just been left and right dropping things, and it's so unlike him. But anyways, we're not talking about Beasley. We're talking about Stephon. I mean, the Jets are bad. Let's be honest. That was probably one of my high keys, that they're just not a good football team, and they haven't been for years. And they don't really look like they're on the way up. I mean, Mike White looked okay for a little bit, but our defense exposed the hell out of him. And I don't know. We'll see with Zach Wilson. But I think the offensive line really just doing what they were supposed to do, providing Josh Allen the time to actually throw the ball. And, Stephon being that get up and go get it receiver also helps so much. The fact that he can just tower over these corners to pick up the ball. I mean, that touchdown he had where we had to do it over because, you know, we got a penalty on the first one. He just did the same damn thing on the second play again and said, nope, we're getting this touchdown. So
he said it's happening, and I don't care what
Yep.
y'all think is happening.
And a big
you know
thing
what?
too that I didn't mention is their chemistry. I just think their chemistry is it's unmatched in the NFL. Like I mean, there obviously are quarterbacks with chemistry on their wide receivers, but you see theirs on and off the field. Like, and it just translates, that brotherhood translates on the field to their success.
Yeah, and the thing I love about it too is it's not always just the good. Like it's not always just the fun and games. Like when you see them joking and laughing, you also see Steph check Josh when Josh is kind of out of control. You see Josh get Steph, like reel him in, like, hey man, I need you. And I love that they have that camaraderie, chemistry, and trust in each other, because a lot of teams, you know, we see it time and time again. Number one wide receivers and the quarterbacks, something start to happen. Then, you know, everybody thought Diggs was a diva before he got here and he was no re-requesting it. You don't see that at all. These guys are best friends. They love each other. And I love it. Before we get off of this game, I saw something right before we came on that I don't know how I didn't catch this earlier. I want to bring this in and just get your take on this. I know I didn't prepare this for you. I didn't. It's nothing bad. So Rex Ryan has a take about the New York Jets, and since we just played the Jets, they were talking about how the Jets obviously are performing and aren't performing. You know, they're not doing well. He had a very, very strong take about the head coach. So I want to get your opinion on this. Let me see. Let me bring this in, and let's see how you feel about this.
This is a horrendous defense. You know, now they're going to use, well, we never had our safety. So what? Everybody has a million injuries, let alone a above average safety you're missing. I remember playing without 5 corners. It never looked like this. I think we were 5th in the league that year in defense. This guy's supposed to be a defensive guru. I heard everything, and I take it personal on this one. Everything I heard about was, well, this guy's a lot like myself, but without the bad part. Yeah, well, some of the bad part you need, because this team doesn't play with any damn heart. I mean, that's the thing that's disappointing to me. And don't ever compare this guy to me, this Robert Saleh to me. Just one time we were like a top defense. All right. Here's one thing they're going to be familiar with. 4 out of 5 years, the 49ers were dead last in their division. So he's going to be dead last again. So he's used to that. So to me, I'm a little pissed off about it when I hear that this guy, you know, his background's a lot like yours. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
That gives me a headache. I do not think that man is our head coach.
Yo, I hated it. I hated it so much. Because the thing is, so first, that's classic Rex. So
it is.
That's classic Rex.
He's inheriting. They've got to understand. Robert Saleh is inheriting how many years of a dumpster fire, horrible team? I mean, we as Bills fans sympathize with this more than ever. You just haven't been good for a very long time at all. And you're trying to get the one guy that's going to fix it and turn it around. And Rex Ryan definitely wasn't going to do that, no matter how badly they wanted him to. And, you know, he's inheriting this team that is even worse off, that's still just trying to find their franchise quarterback. And it seems like when you do that, the rest of the team slowly seems to fall into place if you have the right GM and the right head coach. Do I think he will do a good job? Yes. He's just got to get the right players. And right now he does not have that whatsoever.
He don't got him. Got him. And the biggest question for me with the Jets, and I think it's the biggest question in New Jersey right now, they don't know who's going to be their quarterback. They spent the first round draft pick on a guy. And then you got this guy who's been in the league for 3-4 years, who hasn't started, who hasn't been great, and now he's coming in running the offense a little. Now, he looked horrible. Mike White looked bad against the Bills.
Yes.
But he's looked good at other points of the season. So I think there's some concern and discussion there. It might not be public yet, but I promise you, Mike White keeps playing like this, and then, you know, I could see it being a little quarterback controversy out there. You agree with that, or you feel like I might be kind of jumping off the ledge here with
I agree. Like, you saw the Jets get a couple wins that nobody thought were coming. I mean, against the Cincinnati Bengals team that looked absolutely incredible. Nobody saw that coming. So, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen next year. I mean, he's definitely proven that he's worthy of a starting position, at least Maybe not on, 30 other NFL teams, but on the Jets, yeah, that's totally feasible.
Yeah.
You could see them go at it next year. I don't know. Is that Wilson versus White? Who knows?
We'll see. So let's end this thing out. Let's get you on out of here. But before we do, Sunday we face the Colts. Now I don't do on the code of conduct. I don't do like the game predictions. I don't do all that stuff because it's still early. It's Tuesday. So Hump Day Hotline tomorrow is when me and Joe kind of start to look forward to the next game. So just for tonight, I just want to know was this last Sunday? Was this our Hail Murray moment? Like now are we back after the loss against the Jaguars? Now it's like, okay, the Hail Murray happened. Now we're about to run the table till we get to the AFC Conference Championship. Are we that at that space where you feel like, okay, this team is for real? Or do you think it's kind of like, okay, we saw that it was the Jets. Now we're going to go in here and see what we do this Sunday against the Colts, who are a better team than the Jets?
Well, of course you had to bring up Hail Murray again for the freaking fourth time. No, I
live in Phoenix.
It's okay. Between that commercial and then people were talking about it being the 1-year anniversary today, I was like, really?
Oh, that was today?
I think so.
Oh, snaps. Okay.
I don't know. But either way, I've seen it everywhere this week, and it's just really annoying. It's not that it bothers me anymore, but it definitely does, because it's like, it wasn't a Super Bowl play. Let's move on. But anyways,
for them it was, though. They didn't even make the playoffs. So for them, that was the biggest moment of their season.
I know, but it's treated like it was a Super Bowl play, and it was just not.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Trust me, I'm with you on it.
But to speak to your point, I think we're going to see the same, but I think that might have been their motivating factor, to be so disgustingly embarrassed by a team that's absolutely horrible, and you can't even score a touchdown against them. I mean, and you're poised to be the Super Bowl contender for the AFC. Everybody's talking about you. Everybody's talking about Allen, your offense, your defense. They're both number one. You're literally on top of the world. This is the first time you've been spoken about like this in how many years? And you get so embarrassed by a team that's absolutely horrible. They can't even string together barely 3 wins in the last 2 years. It really I think it humbled them a lot. Not that they needed it, but I definitely think they weren't really focused last week. They didn't look focused. And, you heard that from the Jaguar sideline, that they just didn't look characteristically like a team that actually wanted to win that week. Yep. So to see them come into this week so serious and businesslike against a team that they absolutely should embarrass, and they did, shows me that they want this, and maybe they were looking too far ahead into the playoffs and the Super Bowl and not focused on the regular season. So I think going into this week, I think you're going to see a very same type of energy, focus at practice, none of the dancing, maybe a tiny little bit to celebrate the Jets win, but I don't think they're going to go overboard like they did with it midway through the season. I think they're going to really power through this week. I definitely think they're going to get away with a win. And, what worries me is they have a short week after that. So I guess we'll have to see. I mean, this is going to be a hard couple weeks for them to really prove, is this the Super Bowl contender that we think we have?
Yeah, I know you mentioned afterwards the short week. I'm not worried about that, but a couple reasons. One, I'm not worried about the Saints. I'm not worried about. But again, this is where it starts to get weird for me, Ash. You got to help me, because it's like I don't know if I'm like being honest, because doing content, and this, like it comes with a certain responsibility where people like they really come to you for takes, or they really come to you for knowledge about certain things. So it's like I tried my hardest to always be as like I take all the emotion out of it, unless I'm talking about Tremaine. Like when I'm talking about Tremaine, all bets are off. It's like, that's my dude. I love him, whatever. But otherwise, I try to be very honest about it. The thing is, obviously, I thought we were going to beat the Jaguars, but I'm not worried about the Saints. I'm not, like, Alvin Kamara is a worry for me. Is he going to be healthy by then? I don't know. Is he going to be, who's their quarterback? Jameis is out. So we got Taysom Hill. Are we scared of Taysom Hill?
I mean,
like, are we scared of Trevor Siemian? Like, who are we, like that? So that's what I'm saying. Like, are we scared of these guys? I don't. The defense is what gives me confidence. So like last season, yeah, the offense is like, man, we're scoring 35, we're scoring 40, but the defense was shaky. So there were times where it was like the other team was scoring just as much, and it's like, okay, if we get the ball last, I'm confident. Now I just don't see teams consistently scoring 25 on us.
True.
So I guess that's where I'm at. It's like, yeah, Josh is going to give us 25, 30.
Yeah.
I don't see y'all scoring 25, 30 on us. So that's where I guess that's where I get my cockiness from, but I don't mean it to be cocky. Do you see it similarly, or are you just saying like, look, it's the game. Every week we got to play because it's a different game, and we saw that with the Jaguars. Calm down, Spence.
Yeah, and I mean, no, I do like your point. Like, I didn't really think of it that way, but it's definitely true with this defense. I guess I'm still like in last year's mindset of last year's defense where, you know, you didn't know week to week what they were going to score because they could run up 30, 35 on us one week and then we get a shutout the next. You didn't know.
Yep.
But this year that's different, and I kind of forget that sometimes and take it for granted, I think. So, but you're right. I mean, Josh should be putting up 25, 30 points every week, and these teams probably aren't going to hang that on us. So I think you have a really good point there.
Well, I hope that I hope the way I see it is accurate. Like,
I agree.
We go through and just run the table and set the league on notice, like, you know, because apparently the Patriots set us on notice with Mac Jones. But
yeah, but it's
I hope that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's at any given Sunday mindset that just worries me in the slightest because, like, the Jaguars or like the Dolphins against the Ravens this week, like, you don't know sometimes. You really don't.
True. True. You're right. We don't have to keep going on that. Like I said, I just feel like we're a better team. So,
yeah.
But let's get on out of here, Ash. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on your socials, what type of stuff you got going on or what you got coming up, and we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me at @AshleyPetty_ on Twitter and Instagram. Lots of good stuff. We got the good charge line from 26 shirts out right now for the ladies. We do the fitness line, so go check that out. I have a link on my Instagram. Why So Serious Pod revamping for next year, so keep a lookout for some awesome announcements. We have a couple awesome people coming up with us next year. Really excited for that, so just keep an eye out. I already forgot the Twitter because I haven't been on it much, but I'll definitely let you guys know at some point or another. We'll be promoting a lot more when next season rolls around, so we're really excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait because honestly, like I said, just hearing Steve, not just Stevie, but also I miss you. That's what I said. I got to get you on a code of conduct because I miss hearing you talk. So that's why Ashley is on here, everybody, because I was like, damn it, I miss hearing you talk. So thanks for doing a chop up with me a couple weeks ago. Thanks for doing this. You know, I always enjoy talking to you.
That was fun. Thanks for having me. Sorry, it was a little rusty on the chop up last week, but or 2 weeks ago now. But this felt really good. I'm glad to be back in the realm. I'm excited to get back at it. I miss it. So.
Well, you don't have much rush. You knocked it off quick and easily. So, and ladies and gentlemen, just so you know what she was talking about, when we went to Resurgence, I know I talked about it earlier. I just want to shout it out again because I need y'all to go and buy it. Not just because it's the Buffalo Rumblings IPA, but I need y'all to go buy it because we are still raising money and we're still having a food drive for the Haven House of Buffalo, trying to help women and children escape in domestic violence situations. Please, please, please go to Resurgence, go to Wegmans, go to Consumers, get this beer. And when you get it, take a picture and take a selfie with it. Let me know that you got it. I promise you it's for a reason. I'm going to put something special together at the end of the season. I need to see all y'all with y'all Buffalo Rumblings beer and gear. If you got any, actually go ahead and get that chop up hoodie. That thing is smacking. That thing
it is pretty sweet.
Yeah. So, but Ash, again, thank you so much for coming on. And y'all know how I do it over here with the Buffalo Rumblings Podcast Network and YouTube channel. It's your boy, JSpenceTheKing. Y'all take care of each other, love each other, and live in peace. And as always, stay positive, test negative. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Code of conduct.